Stop whatever you're doing for a moment, because what I'm about to say will sound unusual, even controversial. But if you listen carefully, it might change how you see entertainment, attention, and control in modern society. Let me be clear, I'm not against sports. I love human achievement, physical skill, and teamwork. But I am against systems that quietly use those things to drain potential from people who could be building the future. That's why I'm against American football and basketball, not as games, but as cultural machines that have turned attention into a form of control. When I look at stadiums filled with 100,000 people screaming for hours, something feels off. Because that same collective energy could rebuild cities, explore space, or solve energy problems, but it's being burned every weekend in distraction. That's not sport anymore. That's mass sedation disguised as competition. You see, in the early days, sports were rituals of courage and unity. Now they've become systems of dependency engineered, branded, and optimized to hold you in place. Every advertisement, every broadcast, every replay angle, it's a loop designed not to celebrate athleticism, but to capture your focus. It's a feedback engine of attention, just like the algorithms on your phone. And people don't realize that both are part of the same system, the same infrastructure of distraction. If you want to understand control, follow what consumes your time. For billions, it's their screen. For millions more, it's the game. Both are designed the same way to keep you emotionally invested in something that produces nothing. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt genuine inspiration from a sports broadcast? Not hype, not rivalry, but purpose? When was the last time you saw a stadium erupt for an act of kindness, or innovation, or breakthrough discovery? We don't cheer for those things anymore. We cheer for brands, teams, and numbers that mean nothing outside the screen. That's why I say it's not the athletes I'm against, it's the architecture. Because the system built around American football and basketball no longer rewards creativity, intelligence, or humanity. It rewards spectacle, conflict, and conformity. When you look deeper, these sports are not isolated industries, they're pillars of attention economics. They drive billions of dollars in advertising, gambling, fast food, and pharmaceutical sales. They feed on tribal identity, red versus blue, east versus west, my team versus yours. It's social engineering through entertainment. And if you think that's an exaggeration, remember this: most people can name 10 football players but can't name 3 engineers who built the internet. They can recite scores from decades ago, but can't explain how electricity reaches their homes. That's not coincidence. That's conditioning. The average American spends over 5 hours a week consuming sports media. 5 hours. Now imagine redirecting just half of that into learning, building, or solving something real. Multiply that by 50 million people, that's the lost potential of a civilization. But here's the uncomfortable part. The same psychological mechanisms that make social media addictive are embedded into televised sports. Variable rewards, emotional spikes, narrative tension. Every whistle, timeout, and replay is part of a behavioral script, one that teaches your brain to crave stimulation, not growth. You're not watching the game anymore. The game is watching you. Every commercial, every data point, every emotional reaction is measured, sold, and optimized for profit. They know exactly when you'll cheer, when you'll argue, when you'll tweet, because the real competition isn't on the field, it's for your attention. And the more you feed that loop, the more the loop owns you. I've seen what happens when people unplug from it. When they take that energy and redirect it, they become builders, innovators, parents who spend time with their children instead of yelling at the screen. They stop living through strangers and start writing their own stories. People say, but Elon, sports unite people. Sure, for a moment, but unity built on distraction fades as quickly as the commercial break that follows it. Real unity is built on purpose, shared goals, not shared distractions. I believe in games that push human potential, not just physical endurance. Games that make you smarter, more creative, more conscious. A basketball dunk lasts 3 seconds. A breakthrough in energy, medicine, or AI lasts generations. That's where our collective passion should go. I'm not telling you to stop watching sports. I'm asking you to become aware of why you're watching. If it's joy, connection, or appreciation for human skill, fine. But if it's escape, addiction, or routine, then you're feeding a machine that profits from your disengagement. Every time you scream at a screen, the system wins. Every time you build something, think, or question, you win. The future won't be built by spectators. It'll be built by people who decided to stop watching and start doing. When you step back and look at the global scale, sports leagues are some of the most powerful psychological infrastructures in the world. They influence behavior, identity, even politics. The same mechanisms that drive political division drive sports fandom, manufactured rivalry, artificial stakes, emotional dependency. It's the illusion of choice inside a controlled narrative. Look around during a major game. Cities slow down, families stop talking, millions synchronize their emotions around something that doesn't change the world in any meaningful way. That's not unity. That's pause. And during that pause, the real world continues to shift. Technology advances, policies change, systems evolve, while most people remain frozen in distraction. Here's the irony. If the same collective intensity used to watch a single championship were directed towards solving energy or education, humanity would leap forward within a decade. But attention has become the most valuable currency on Earth, and these games are the perfect vaults to store it. That's why I speak about it, not to criticize fans, but to wake them up. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. I'm not asking you to stop enjoying things. I'm asking you to stop being owned by them. There's a difference between participation and programming, between entertainment and enslavement. When you understand that, you begin to reclaim your agency. Imagine a world where millions of people channel their obsession into building startups, clean energy projects, research, art, and exploration. Imagine the same excitement of a game, but directed towards something that expands civilization instead of distracting it. That's the world I want to live in. That's the game worth playing. Because the real score isn't kept on a scoreboard, it's measured in progress, discovery, and consciousness. And that's why I'm against American football and basketball. Not because they exist, but because of what they've become: tools that keep extraordinary people ordinary.